Josh, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Hi.
So I was wondering if you have to take a year off from a school, is there such a thing as being blacklisted?
Keelani, it's a good question. I'm happy that you ask such a sensitive question at the show. I'm be more than happy to answer it. And I know that we have a lot of ballet teachers are interested in the show and are watching the show previously. I want to explain to you a little bit, Keelani, that as much as we wanted to take the personal aspect, the feelings out of our business, but you can't help to to understand the fact all business are personal. Yeah. So your teachers poured in a lot of energy and love and care into training you. So without knowing the circumstances in terms of how you left, why you left, you should understand that there's a bit of at least a bit of a disappointment come from your teachers. Am I right? So can you tell me in what circumstances you left, or is it okay to share?
Yeah. So I was dancing at San Francisco Ballet, and I had to take a year off because my great grandfather passed. Well, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't pass yet. So he passed the day before my birthday, which was in November.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take the year off to be with him.
In that circumstances, I do not believe your school will ever get mad at you for that reason. First of all, I'm very sorry for the emotional journey that you are going through, but I can guarantee you that your school and your teachers would never ever get mad. You left school for that reason, so there's no reason for you to be nervous about it, and just go back to your school, and they know exactly the circumstances was. They will never blacklist you for attending no matter like this to be at your grandfather's side. I don't think you have anything to worry about at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just to be honest, there's nothing to worry about. Yes?
Mhm.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mhm. Josh, I cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so our next guest will be Gloria, and then we'll be putting her in. And also, Mr. Duke, could you make sure you speak a little bit louder because sometimes I don't hear you. But you can
Okay.
speak on that. Okay, thank
All right.
you.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Drew.
Yes. Hi, Gloria. How are you?
I'm good. I'm fine. I
Thank you
want
for
to ask.
coming in.
Yeah, I want to ask. Is there any chance for dancers who are more than 25 years old to be accepted in a ballet company and pursue career?
25-year-old dancers, professional dancers, audition for company all the time. Okay, all the time, because dancers often spend few years in one company, and then if they feel that there's no if they feel like there's another company would suit them better at that time, people audition in the audition season right around March and February. That's when the dancers choose to go other places. It's not the fact that they're not happy in current companies, but it's they might just feel like there's another opportunity somewhere, or personal reasons. Perhaps they wanted to be near their family, they wanted to be near their loved ones, or the climate and geographic reason. There's so many reasons to forming that decision. But yes, dancers do move around. But my question to you is that you're talking about this 25-year-old. does she or he has the prior experience as a professional dancer? This very important question.
Oh, I see. Maybe it is not experience in a big professional company, but because
Mm-hmm.
in Indonesia there is no professional company like San Francisco or American Ballet Theater. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but we do perform as a professional dancer so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Do that experience enough to for us to audition to get audition for ballet company in abroad.
Absolutely. If you sounds like you are already a ballet dancer since you are engaging, performing live performances, you're trained regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and you work with choreography and you dance a professional repertoire. If that is the case, that you should be able to at least audition to try the company outside your country, but at the level are slightly higher than where you are now. Because why would you go somewhere the standards, artistic standards, are lower than where you are now, right? So I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that this is actually how you improve, because you improve around the levels around you, right? Your environment will take you. It's like the water goes high, the boat goes high as well. So let's say that your artistic environment around you is the water and you're the boat. So that when the environment rises, your artistic standard ability goes up as well. So I encourage you to look for the company that are perhaps more professional, better repertoire, more engaged with audience in terms of more performances, and that is absolutely a possibility, right? But I do not recommend you look for companies so far out of your range, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
are dancing in a smaller company that you do, let's say X amount of performances per year, um, then this type of company, there's so many, there's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely great. Actually, they do really, really great audience engagement and the audience love them, and you fulfill your responsibility as a professional ballet dancer. But I would not recommend from that environment right away you audition for a world-class top level ballet company like American Ballet Theater. I don't think that approach is helpful. But you have to understand the companies, I always say that it's like a pyramid, like this, right? So you have the top company and the top. Then you have a lot of company trickles down in terms of size, capability, in terms of artistic levels. Within that pyramid, should be a lot of opportunity for you, right? So I don't recommend you always look at the very top, the top of the pyramid, the best company in the world. You should look within this pyramid. There will be a company absolutely suitable for you. So go back to the question you had. Our 25-year-old, is it possible to accept the ballet company and pursue a more engaging career? This is absolutely possible, and you should pursue it. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Great. Yeah, and then you
Okay.
have to do your research, right? You have to do your research,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to see the company, because now you have social media right at your fingertips. You look at the company, you look at their website. That's what I believe the research could help you to determine your approach very much, because all the homework you have to done prior will benefit you very much. First thing, website. You look at the company's website right away, right? There's always a dancers page. You look at the dancers, you look at their biography, then you see where their path were, where they're coming from, what they're training, and how old are they. You can generalize a formulative decision, right? That will help you to make an appropriate approach. That's my recommendation. Do your research. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And do you
Thank you.
have
Yeah.
any suggestion for dancer who injured their ankle or leg? And what should they do to keep their body shape when they have to rest because of the injured? And do you have any suggestion to prevent the injuries, maybe?
Yes. Very good question. If you have injury your ankle, I recommend you totally stay off that area. Rest to me is the most important way to recover. It's the rest. This is the most hardest part for dancers because dancers always wanted to try it out. Dancers always, if one day, one morning, you feel a little bit better, dancers like, okay, I'm good for class. And they go in there because adrenaline, because they like to believe that they're injury free. And a lot of cases that they further injure themselves. So secondary injury, it's more damaging to the injury itself. So to me, it's very important you rest, right? Even if you don't feel pain whatsoever, you still have to give a few more days, let it fully healed, right? So the idea is you try to glue something together like this, okay? So you have to let the chemical, you have to let the glue to take its effect. That takes little time. So what if you the glue start taking effect, but it's not fully bound together? Then you start taking them apart. You start taking them apart like this.
Mm,
It would never work, right? This process itself, it's more damaging than the injury to start with. So you stay off that area. Fortunately, there's so many other things we can do while rest the ankle. Perhaps for us ballet dancers, very important, your abdominal muscle, right? That core muscle right there, it is a very important part for of the body for us to take to for us to improve our technique. We can do a lot of abdominal exercises. Also flexibility, right? You can stretch your leg front, side, and back. That does not do anything with the ankle. You don't need it to do anything with the ankle. You can work on your port de bras, right? You look at the video, improve the port
mm,
de bras. You can listen to music, improve your musicality, right? You can look at the variation and learn the combinations. So when you are healed, your teacher can coach you, right? You can do all that while you're reading a biography of a famous dancer. You see, there's so many layers, things you can do. The one thing you shouldn't do is get frustrated, right? So just like we have a pandemic situation right now, use the I would not say opportunity. This is not ideal situation. However, we have to make the best out of the situation. So we have no other choice but move forward, be more engaging in the environment that allow us to do so, right? So there's so many things you can do. Flexibility, strengthening, musicality, put a bras, intellectual stimulation, read a book, everything like that. Does it make sense?
yes, makes
Yeah?
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is when your mind is not engaged, not being stimulated, no, your body not being stimulated, that's when you get kind of let down, discouraged. And I don't believe that's helpful for healing the injury either. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And yeah, okay. And
What's the follow up question?
how to improve the line of the body. I mean the technique of the body, the lines and the posture.
Ballet
How to
class,
improve ballet class.
the bar.
Okay.
You do the bar diligently. Do the, when you do tendu, fondu, and dégagé, in my opinion, it's like a sculptor.
Mm-hmm.
Sculptor constantly chisel away the areas that they do want. They always
Mm-hmm.
sculpting the sculpture into a way, into a shape that they want to see, they're satisfied with. So it's like a polishing, chiseling. That's what bar does. Just like you said, dancer's body, their leg is a different, right? The shape of the leg is different, right? So
Mhm.
the leg is made of flesh, bone, skin. How can you? We're not going to physically chisel our body, are we? No. However, look at the movement of Fondu: out and in, rond de jambe, round, Fondu,
Mm.
down and
I
out.
see.
All those exercises acts as if you're polishing, you're chiseling your body. So it becomes a specific line that we want to see in ballet. It
I
is
see.
miracle. It is miracle, right? So you're not going to physically manipulate like how you would like a sculptor. But for us, the ballet class is a way to shaping our legs.
Mhm. Oh,
Does it make sense if you truly think about it, right? And another aspect very important um, is Gloria. It is a rotation. Rotation, it's like ultimate mystery. How rotation ballet turned out can increase the strength, stability, at the same time shape our body or legs to the way that are so beautiful. It's from rotation. That's why it is important that to have a rotation, have a sensation of rotation turned out. That's one thing that differentiate ballet from all other dance genre is from rotation. Does it make sense to you?
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah? Good.
Okay.
I good.
Thank,
I hope that helps. Yeah, keep up
yeah,
good work.
yeah.
Yeah?
Thank you very
Good.
much,
Okay.
Mr. Ju.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you so much for helping her out with that. And next we have our summer intensive student, upcoming summer intensive student, Chloe. So we'll bring her in. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Hi. Hello.
Hi Chloe, how are you?
I'm good.
So your question is how do I balance my normal life with ballet?
Yes.
Another really great question. Another really great question. How old are you, Chloe?
I'm 11 and I'm turning 12 in a month.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, your life at this moment, if you think it's busy, you're busy now. I want to tell you something. It's gonna get busier. Yeah, it's gonna get busier. So you mentioned a word. I thought that was very beautiful. It's called balance. Right? This is something that I tell myself all the time. Believe me, we have to find a balance between work and your normal life. Ballet and normal life. So the normal life consists with spending time with your family, read a book, have some resting time, and do your academic work, correct? I assume that
Mhm.
you are in classes, academic classes, lots of homework. So the balance is really beautiful word in here because if the balance is off, it doesn't work for any element of the things that we just talked about. So how to create a balance? I think consistency is important. Scheduling is important. For me, I like to have a schedule because if I have to think so many things are happening at the same time, I really get overwhelmed in my head. So I like to have a weekly schedule so I can see it. It's a visualization of my week is going to look like, right? Every day. So that schedule is not, you're not making that schedule just to look at it. You have to follow the schedule. So consistency creates stability, right? So
Mhm.
every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you create a schedule for yourself when I do ballet, when I do homework, even in ballet. Let's say you go to school, I don't know your circumstances. Let's say you go to ballet school. between class and rehearsal, even if there's 20 minutes, guess what? Utilize that 20 minutes to tackle some subject. Either rest, that's a subject. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm going to rest. Or I'm going to do a little homework. So when you stick to that schedule, it works. To me, at least, I'm offering the advice that I think it works for me.
Okay.
The other is that, Chloe, you have to create time. What does that mean? Create time. You only have 24 hours a day. How do you create more time? I believe you can. Because oftentimes between subjects,
Mhm.
next thing you know, I just 45 minutes gone by, I just didn't know what I just did. But create time means that recognize and find the little pockets of time to do your tasks. Let's say your homework, it requires, let's say, an hour to finish, right? So
Mhm.
what do you say? I don't have the whole hour. I don't have an empty whole hour to do my homework because my ballet class is coming up. But you can do the whole hour homework. You can divide them into segments. You can divide them into 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and 20 minutes there. So that is your homework time. Instead of looking for a whole block of time, you divide them in little pieces, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's good, Chloe. I think it's gonna take a little while for you to find your rhythm.
Okay.
The rhythm that you understand in ballet. There is a rhythm. But also at the same time in life, there's rhythm as well. Sometimes rhythms like this, very fast. Sometimes rhythm is slower like this. Yeah?
Mhm.
So when the rhythm gets slower, please use the time to rest, to rejuvenate. I always take naps when I was a dancer. If I see a 15 minutes, I don't have anything to do. If there's a 15 minutes, I would be laying on the floor with my feet up. I would just close my eyes. It's not like I'm truly falling to sleep, but have my mind off, my eyes closed. I create a piece of resting moment for myself, just like for a machine to turn it off for a little bit, let it rest. That period of time would rejuvenate more energy for you. Make sense? So
Yes.
it's all about balance, regularity, consistency, and organization, Chloe.
Okay.
It's such a young age. We talk about this big subject, but I think you're better off to learn it now, that it will help you later on. Okay, Chloe.
Okay.
All right. I hope what I said helps. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you,
All right. Thank
Chloe.
you, Chloe, for joining us. We hope to see you at the summer intensive. And let's go to the next question. So this is from Instagram follower, and her question was, let's see, what is one quality or top qualities that the companies seek or look for, and why do companies have an age limit if a person is still able and fit to dance even for intensives?
Um, the top quality for a company, although each company they have their own specific aesthetic choices, aesthetic uh, style for their own company. But if you think about the top quality for the company to seek, it is not, I want it to be very clear, it is not the company itself wants to look you and they have a specific guideline. It is the the art of ballet. What art of ballet are looking for? So it's important for you to understand that. So the company itself, it's a vehicle. Like I always say to myself as a teacher, like I see the ballet as an art form through me. I'm a messenger, right? I did not create turned out. I did not create point of foot. I didn't create that. It's the art form itself asking for it. So I'm a messenger. In this case, company, let's say the artistic director, he or she has the responsibility of keep the standard of the company up and improve the standard of the company, artistic standard of the company. That is the artistic director's job, right? So when the company is presented in front of the audience each season, they should be able to look better and the dancers look beautiful and their technical level is getting higher and higher and they are able to take on more complex and large productions. That generalized saying this is what the company's responsibility. So top quality look for one is technicality, period. As you can see nowadays, for example, turning, period. Yeah, if you look at the videos from general, from let's say 30, 40 years ago, if a dancer, a male dancer or female dancer turn on they were 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 turns, it's good enough. It's beautiful. It's really great and considered really well done. But nowadays, it's a must for a boy, for a male dancer to audition for a medium-sized professional paid ballet company. They expected that from a quarter ballet right out of the school. You have to be able to do it. So as you can see, the technical requirement is going up. Yeah, just because our body are different, our body are developing in the way that have a lot to do with our diet, have a lot to do with all the supplemental exercises that are available to us because Pilates was not available, was not something that well known 40, 50 years ago. Yoga is not something that well known 30, 40 years ago. And most of all is our understanding about those specific technique. Now we are able to develop some technique, some beautiful steps that it's not common at all, right? So number one, technicality is going up. Second is artistic ability, very important. That's what they're looking for. So if you are lacking in technicality, let's say you cannot turn or jump as high, but there's something about your dancing are so profound, are so beautiful in the way that very mesmerizing about your dancing. Even if you just take an audition class, the way you approach the combination, the way you finish the combination, the way you carry your arm, the way you display your understanding, your musicality, that makes a lot, right? Even if you cannot turn that many turns, jump that high, but your artistic maturity will make up a lot of it. All right, so we talk about technicality, we talk about artistic ability, right? Third, what's third? Third is to me is a little bit mystery. It's just basic chemistry between one person to the other. Just like a dancer, sometimes on stage, you don't know why. I tended to watch this dancer more than the other. This is a human feeling. Perhaps that dancer spoke to me, but it might not work for other dancers. So just perhaps when you audition for the company, something about you that was captivating for that particular panel of artistic staff that was looking at you. That's so beautiful. That's what's beautiful about art. It's not something we can explain. It is not something we can even write it down. It's a feeling. That's why we call it art. It's elusive, something unexplained. That's a quality itself. I can help you to dissect what that feeling is. It is your projection with people watching you. It's the use of your eyes. It's the musicality. People say dynamic. What does dynamic means? Because the music is the same, the meter is the same. But the way you dance, the way you use the music are slightly different from everyone else's. That makes your dancing just that much more captivating than others. Little elements, a lot of stuff is natural, your natural ability, but a lot of stuff you're able to learn from your teachers. So it's art. I always say that there's the art of war. I'm talking about the art of audition. How can you make that 90 minutes? We talked about the previous episode to make the company feel they have to have you. They cannot think why. This is the dancer we want. Yeah, the art of audition, very important. We teach that in Kirov Academy to our senior students. It's a well-crafted, well-calculated approach to audition. So you're talking about top qualities, and that's three important things which is talking about the technicality, yeah, the artistic ability. Then the elusive thing is talking about what I'm talking about, the musicality, the way you use your eyes, all those little details. That's what makes it very simple. It's most of the times they're not going to analyze it. They look at it and say, for this particular season. And also another reason that I wanted to explain to you, they have to look at their repertoire, what they do all year long, right? If they audition says in March, you audition for the company in March, at that time they would have already know what they're gonna do in the season coming up, right? So they want to see how can you fit into that repertory lined up for the company. So they might see you in particular role. Yeah, those are all the extra aspect of it that you have to take in consideration. Why company have age limit if a person is still able to fit to dance for intensive? This is another good question. In our previous episode, we talked about company is a business. You have to understand that, right? They have a budget. They have a certain amount of money they can spend on the dancers. A dancer for a company, it's an investment. I hate to put it that way, but it is, right? So it's unlikely they are going to hire a dancer right away to use a dancer in the specific roles, unless this dancer has a prior very big, large resume. They have done professional work many years, and they know right away how to expect how to work in a company, can tackle those roles right away. That, of course, is one element of dancer transfer. I talked about this before, from one company to the other. They are perhaps in the same level or slightly higher within this band, within this range. Dancers travel from one company to the other for various reasons. But if you're talking about from a student, a young dancer, why I say investment? Because this young dancer is going to take that young dancer a few years to get mature, right? So it will take this dancer a few years to get used to the company life and to develop its character and to develop its repertory. So for some may never happen, because some dancers, when they're in school, they hit the top, they peak. When they go to the company, they're no longer improving. And we also talk about that. There's a specific many reasons compound that why that doesn't happen. As a director, company director, a part of their job is, of course, nurturing you, motivate you, and give you opportunity for you to tackle those roles, for you to grow as an artist. Yes, that takes time. That's why they have age limits. If they wanted to have a quarter ballet is a lower rank, lowest rank, of course, lowest like apprentice studio company. But let's say from the quarter ballet, they put the age limit onto that dancers because they don't want to hire a quarter ballet at certain already reached certain age. Their body, the physical shape is preventing them improve higher, improve more physically because the limitation. So that's why they want to invest a lower rank dancers in a younger age to allow this time to be mature. That's why. So you're talking about summer intensive is very different. Summer intensive is you pay to study. Yeah, it's you pay the tuition to learn dance. Company is reverse. They pay you. So when this situation, relationship changes, they do have to think about how that investment is going to benefit the company as well as benefiting you. Right? For the summer intensive, it's a bit different because you are paying them to be trained. So you couldn't, I don't believe you can put that into the same category just because the payment situation. Yeah, that's a significant differences. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Du. While you were, bringing out the wonderful answer for that question, we have actually three more people who wants to join the live show. So the
Okay,
next guest is Annabelle, and she has a very good question. I think that will benefit all the audiences. Okay, we'll bring her in.
okay,
Mhm.
great.
Hey, Mr. Du, it's Annabelle. I had a question about the Kirov Academy school. For this year, I was accepted for the summer and full round of Kirov Academy, and I'm really excited. And I'm going to be planning on going for the summer intensive if everything goes as planned for this summer. Um, However, I haven't. If I do like the summer intensive, and if I feel comfortable there, and I decide to go for the full round, which I am considering, um, that would mean that my family would have to come with me because they don't really feel comfortable with me going to Washington since we live in Florida all by myself. So how would I know that I would feel comfortable moving and making such a big step? And how would I make myself comfortable as far as homesickness and especially during the summer intensive for the 3 week?
Very, very, very good questions. First of all, thank you for. We're looking forward to working with you, Annabelle. Um, Kirov Academy is a little bit different type of school than any other ballet. A lot of majority of ballet school in the United States, just because we're boarding school. Annabelle, you have to understand that we have 60 beds in the school. The most students have 2 students per dormitory. We even have single rooms. This is the one thing that different from all school than most majority of the school in the United States because it's boarding school. Because the school 30 years ago was designed copy of Kirov Academy in St. Petersburg, Russia. So we believe that it is if it's a professional ballet school requires the type of time you spend in the school are not wasted by traveling from home back to the school, home back to school. So we want to have a institutionalized education where you live, you eat. We have a beautiful, fantastic cafeteria that we have staff dedicated to create a nutritional meal for the students, and we have library and we have a nurse's office. So the entire school is dedicated for one purpose: is training professional dancers. So in fact, I don't believe your parents need to travel to Washington D.C. with you, Annabelle, because you're gonna be living in a dormitory. Yeah. So in terms of homesickness, you will be missing home. I grew up in a boarding school. I went to boarding school for 7 years. I missed home tremendously, especially in the first 3 years. Right around the dinner time, because that's when we eat together, and I was depressed. I was homesick all the time, every night. I remember for the first couple years. But what saves me or everyone else in that situation is the community that you formed. It's a friendship you formed with your classmates, with your teachers, with the staff. We have wonderful RA ladies that treats students like their own children. We truly love our students. So, for example, this pandemic, our students right now are away from the school with the parents. But I get emails every single day from students that tell me how much they miss school because the school was their home, right? So if you're gonna move your home to enter a school like a Kirov Academy, you have to consider that's your home now. Yeah, so people around you, you'll form your friendship with your classmates, with your teachers. We have a beautiful counselor that will always there to support you to combat the anxiety, what have you, that the experiencing the your mind is experiencing at that moment. We have the school is designed like a machine, like a design. The whole school is designed for you to do what you do the best, which is study ballet, study academics, and that's it. Everything else, we have the support system for you. Yeah, so understand. So no, your
Right,
parents
yes.
does not need to move to Washington with you.
Yeah, it was really only a thought, but it was like what I'm really like it's not the classes that I'm mostly worried about that I would consider like because I've been actually taking a lot of your classes over this break and I've been actually really liking them. Technique wise, I feel like they've really improved me more surprisingly than I've had at my school here in Florida, which is actually kind of shocking. But it's just that I haven't been really far away from my family for the long periods of time before, and for the thought of me just going to Washington all by myself and having no family, that kind of gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
Annabelle, it's the beauty of life. It's beauty of life that when you encounter something challenging, and I tell you, the feeling of successfully overcome or overcame that challenge, there's nothing in the world like it. Because what you see right now, it's a mountain. It's a mountain right in front of you, full of mystery, full of questions. Only way to find out, of course, with the support of your parents and the support of the school, we're here for you, is just try it. Otherwise, you will never know. You will never know it. And you have a lot more strength. You're a lot stronger than you think you are. I always believe that. Just like I told a story the other day that my teachers, when my legs started shaking, my teacher said, you have 50% left. Your mind is the same thing, exactly the same thing. Yeah, you will be homesick. I can guarantee you that. There will be turbulent times just because school is very challenging. There will be disappointments. But in the aid of your support system, when you get over those challenges, when you are successful, when you're triumphant, that feeling, you can only get that kind of happiness if you overcome the challenges.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, yes. We're here for you. You know, all the if you have other questions, just please just contact us. Yeah, we'll walk you through it. Okay?
Right.
Don't be
Thank
afraid.
you.
Don't be afraid. Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. Mhm.
Have a good day.
You too. You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, that was great. So next, our guest is Lena, and she has a very important questions as well. So I'll bring her in. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
So my question was,
What's your question?
I started ballet at a really late age. I was just never, my parents didn't really put me into it, and I started at 13, and I worked really hard, and I have sort of managed to catch up with people around my age. I'm 15 right now. But in December, I had an injury, and I've torn a muscle on the side of my calf, and I haven't really done anything. I haven't done center or anything in at least 4 months, and I'm hitting a roadblock right now in wondering like, will I ever make it? Because I was already at a disadvantage because of how late I started, and then now I like haven't been doing really anything. So I was wondering if you had any advice for like how to physically like take care of myself since I can't really do a lot with my legs, and then mentally how can I, are certain things like worth doing, I guess.
First of all, what's your name? Lena?
Lena.
Lena, wonderful. Thank you for calling. Thank you for coming in. First of all, let me tell you, Lena, 13 to study ballet, it's normal. It's normal. The Fondu Academy or the Kirov Academy, it's 10 years old, 11, 10. My school accept 12-year-olds for professional training. So when you start 13, it's perfect. So you first of all, you get that out of your mind. You didn't start late. By United States standard, kids start ballet like 3 or 4. That's not ballet. That's kind of like movement with the music. Play around a little bit. You're taking
Okay.
class with the little tutus and jumping around. That's not serious training. So the real curriculum starts when the kids are 10 years old, 10, 11, because that's when the muscle and the body function is at the level where they can absorb and understand the discipline. Before that, the kids just running around. We have good teachers able to contain them and do something constructive. But we believe it is at 10 or 11 years old. That's when we can really train a student from level 1. So you're 13. There's absolutely, don't worry. That's not an issue. Okay, let's just get that out of our way.
Okay.
I have danced side by side with male dancers that start at 18 in university. Fantastic dancers. Of course, the guys, the body, the construction is a little bit different. So they
Right.
can start a little later, like 18. Professional, beautiful career and everything. Yeah. So 13, no problem. Don't worry about it. So now you have this injury, right? So
Mhm.
the injury is it still hurting you right now?
Yeah, it recently got worse actually. I think it's might have been because I've been working on floors that are not designed to be danced on because of corona and everything. And before I could walk without pain, but now we're at a point where I'm walking with pain. So
Mm-hmm. Well, the pain itself the sensation in pain itself, it's very simple. Why is there? It is there to tell you to pay attention to the particular area. So again, leave it alone. Rest is very important, right? So sometimes during the day, you feel a little bit better, but that's just at that moment, for whatever reason, can be various reasons why you feel a little bit better. The pain subside a little bit, but that does not mean the injury itself have suddenly healed from morning to afternoon. It didn't work like that.
Yeah.
So when you feel like the day before you feel terrible, but today I feel great. I'm just gonna go take a full ballet class on the wood floor. That's not helpful, Lena, because that injury did not miraculously uh, healed itself overnight. It didn't happen, right? So we really have to look at it in a very professional way without being emotional about it. Because for a dancer to have an injury is one of the most frustrating things, believe me. It's frustrating because you want to dance, you wanted to do something, but it is this sensation of pain keep you away from what you want to do. It's a frustrating situation, but you
Yeah.
have to keep it professional. Your mind have to keep cool. Work on other things besides that area, right?
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we're in this idling moment right now. But just like I teach a ballet class, focus on what can we do at home. So that same concept should work with you, Lena. You work on the things that are not required to move that leg. Work on your port de bras, right? That does not mean that you're wasting time. You're tackling on one of the most fundamental, most important aspect of ballet, classical ballet, is port de bras.
Yeah.
Truly learn, truly see what is the connection between your eyes, your fingers, your shoulders, your neck. Perfect that. Use the opportunity to do that. Don't idling on the fact, on the issue you can fix, Lena. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. I
Right?
understand.
Don't keep your mind stuck on the issue you can't fix. You just have to accept that's how it is now. Right? The nature, the body is gonna take its course. You're young, you recover quick. Believe me, you'll recover. Because your body is working to repair the area as we're speaking right now. You just have to give your body a little time to do it. In the meantime, Lena, work on something else.
Okay.
Core strength, flexibility, beautiful arch. Work on those. Use a TheraBand. Flexibility turned out. Yeah, read a book about a famous dancer. All these things is gonna benefit you so much. So use the time to work on things you can work on and leave it alone. Leave the injury alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
dancers, we are type A mentality. Type A. We want
you.
everything to go. I'm like that too. Don't believe me. We want everything to go our way.
Yeah.
We want everything to have the tempo, the rhythm, how we like to have it. Because when you're in the studio, all your teachers giving you corrections. Don't do this, don't do that, do this, everything. So you are naturally to have this type A to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect mentality. So especially when the things does not go your way, you have to accept that, Lena. You have to accept and work on other things. Make sense?
It does.
You you
Um,
you will be fine. You will be fine. Yeah.
I was
Another
wondering.
you have follow up question. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess this injury has really opened my parents' eyes to the world of like how one injury could end a dancer's career. And in that sense, my parents are very wary and I wouldn't say unsupportive, but very concerned that if I choose this route, I would be basically breaking myself down. And I totally understand that, but for like for one parent versus another, one is much more comfortable in letting me take that risk and I guess learning my own experiences, and the other one is very much against it, and I don't know how to begin to explain to her. I guess it's just a fact that she doesn't understand that there are different levels and not necessarily all of them are going to result in me getting injured. But I was wondering if you had any, I don't know, advice, I guess, for just
Yeah,
helping them
yeah.
understand.
Um, One thing, I'm a parent myself. I have two girls. I have two daughters. Um, Parents need to be educated. Yeah. So first you have to understand all the concerns. It's all come out of love and care. Let's understand that first.
Mhm.
It's because it is parents' job to looking to look out for you, to see something that you might not be able to see now because your life experience are so young at this point, right? So it is their responsibility to see a little further ahead in your life to determine what do you do now. So this is their job. So don't get frustrated with your parents. Yeah, they need to be convinced. So, but what can we do in the meantime? What can we do to convince my parents that this is in fact something I want to do, right? So we have to present to our parents a posture that you have thought about it, you have a strategy. At least it's even if it's the strategy is immature, but you have a plan. You have done your part to mitigate the risk of getting injury. Just like by doing what we were just talking about. If your parents to see you getting upset every day over this injury and not unable to do something else to fix that, then they begin to see there's a problem, right? They begin to see it is not unreasonable for them to imagine this type of situation lingers for years, or when Lena gets become an adult, cannot get past the fact that this little injury are preventing her moving forward in her life. That is the anxiety of a parent, right? So we can understand where they're coming from. But if you present to your parents in the ways that you are aware of the situation, at the same time, you have ways to improve yourself while your injury is happening. Third, successfully get past and heal the injury and move forward. If you can put that three things in order, I don't think you need to do anything verbal convincing because they're watching you. They see, oh, this is not going to be a life changing experience for her because she's fully in control. She understands how she's going to get past this obstacle, and she is formulate a plan for it. And look, at the end, it was successful. So their anxiety will go away, right? So I think if you constantly try to convince them verbally, it's not as helpful as are physically demonstrating your maturity. And I think that's more helpful. Does it make sense?
It does. Thank you so much.
Because your parents love you. They don't want to see you upset. I'm sure they see you upset over this injury. I'm sure they see your frustration. I'm sure they see your the mood changes and I'm sure of it. That causes concern, and it is not unreasonable for them to express some concern. So just follow my instruction to calmly to execute those tasks. And if your presence, if your um, practice, daily practice now does not show any kind of disorganization, perhaps, I think your parents will be supportive, Lena. Yeah, because they want you to be happy and they will support you.
I really hope so. Thank you so much for all
You're
of your advice. I
okay.
really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your support. We're here for you. Okay.
Thank you. Have a great
Yeah.
day.
You too. You too. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful answer. And we'll move on to the list of questions that we had. Unfortunately, they were not able to join face to face, but they still would like to have an answer for these questions. Okay, so next question will be we'll mix the techniques and other career-based questions so that people are more engaged. So next question, what are some muscles to engage when you're doing fondue?
Fondu combination, as if you have followed my class before, when I was a student, when I was a boy, fondue combination is one of my least favorite combination. We talked about yesterday. It's like a little hurdle because you know why? Because fondue put a lot of stress on one particular part of your body. It's your thigh. It's your support, the thigh of your supporting leg. It's the quad, the big muscle. Yeah. So that muscle needs to be engaged. That muscle has to feel tired. The other is your rotator. So I'm talking about your supporting side. I'm not talking about your working side because fondue is at the 45 degrees that you have that articulation as of develope and point your feet and turn down, everything's beautiful. But fondue is about the coordination of one leg bending on the way up, supporting leg go down, working leg go to various directions. So it is the first part of fondue, the melting part, is important. So the muscle group is the thigh of the supporting leg and the rotator, the bottom of your supporting leg. That two muscle group is fundamentally important for the fondue part. Yeah, the fondue to melt is down. Is the first part of fondue. The second part of fondue, in my opinion, should not have exactly the same element. The second part has to be a little bit more energetic, less of a melting, just for me. I want the absolute melt on the way down, puts a lot of pressure on your thigh, on your bottom. But on the way up has to be a that's just how I like to have it. Yeah. So yes, the thigh and the bottom of the supporting side. And I added one thing extra. Your knee when you plie has to do what? Has to go past the toes. Has to be in line with the toes and has to be past the toes, your knee. If your knee at the end of the melting thing and not past your toes, you're not on your leg. The very bottom of the plie, your knees have to be past your toes. Otherwise, you're not going to be on. You're not on your leg. Your weight is still on the heel, which is dangerous because on the second part, it's going to pull your weight out wherever your leg goes. Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So next
Thanks.
question is, how should a dancer prepare for longer hours of dancing than what they're used to?
This is a very good question. When what I tell you what a professional dancer requires on paper, they require 90-minute of classes, like 90-minute class, technique class in the morning. Let's say from 9:30 to 11. Okay. Technically, they will have 6 hours of rehearsal after that. Have a 1 hour lunch break in between. 6 hours. So every hour out of the 6 hours, they require to have 5 minutes break each hour. That is a basic dancer's day is like. Okay, you might have a 4 hour day, you might have 5 hour, you might even have a 3 hour if you're lucky that day. Okay, but on contract, that's what you have to do. Can you imagine that? 90 minutes class, then you have 15-minute break, then you start your day of 6 hours rehearsal. Means body, mind, engagement. Uh, just work out, basically work out 6 hours plus 90-minute class. Execute very complex passages and learning new choreography and everything else. So the beautiful question this young lady or young gentleman just had, how do you keep your stamina? Is that, that's my understanding question. It's very important. I can only give you my experience. Okay, I want to say this very clear. I'm not a nutritionist, but this has something to do with the nutritional intake. What I can do is give you my advice to share my experience with you, what worked for me. Of course, it has to work with different body, different composition of your muscle, and have your age and everything to do with it. But when I was a professional dancer, I worked very hard and very long hours for many years. What keeps me engaged all day long? My last rehearsal is from 5 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. What worked for me is a constant replenishing of nutrient and constant hydration. Two things: constant hydration and constant nutrient intake. So what didn't work for me is having, let's say, a big lunch in between. So I would not eat like a big sandwich for lunch or big lunch involving a lot of carbs, let's say bread, pasta. That literally will makes me more tired for the afternoon portion of the rehearsal. So what worked for me is constant each hour eat a protein-based items, like a protein bar, a piece of fruit, a banana, even some chocolate. But I would stay away from big carb intake. That worked for me. So I feel like my body, if I feel the sensation of hunger, or I feel thirsty, I feel it's too late already. Because when the body sent out that signal, that the thirsty signal, you're already hydrated. Okay? So I against you take a big bottle, start to drink the whole bottle at once. It doesn't work for me. I like to drink constant sips all the time. Like every hour, we have 5 minutes break. I will make sure I drink something. I make sure my body is hydrated. I make sure there's something, always something protein-based items in my system, because that will help my muscle to be engaged and also my mind. Because when I feel hungry, I feel just a little late. Yeah, I just feel like I'm less engaged for me to perform the tasks that I have to do. So my advice to you is constant. Make sure that you prepared your dance bag. Your bag's prepared. My dance bag, I always had either a pot of hot tea. The dancers knows me. They know that I always have fruits in there. Just a little orange. In between 5 minutes break, I break up an orange and I eat it. Somehow that eating, the sensation itself, it calms me down, but also give me that sugar that I needed to move forward, right? So a big meal for me is the aggravates, uh, because you have to understand it takes a lot of energy to even digest that food, and it takes hours for that food to become a energy to benefiting you. But at that time, the day is over. I also against eating too late and too much. Again, that's my advice. Yeah, all dancers' diet, in my opinion, should have more protein in their system than carbs anyway. So I don't believe that a dancer, especially with an active schedule, should eat a big meal in the late night because when you do that, even when you go to sleep, your body did not rest. Your body is not resting. Your body took it will take that body, your body, few hours to digest that food that you just took. Let's say 11 o'clock in the night. So it prevents you to have a very good night's sleep. And I just feel a little bit of unsupportive in the morning if that happens to me. Once again, that's something I want to do, and that's the advice I share with you. Okay, so food intake helps, and rest in between. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ranchel. Next question is Nicole. She was not able to join us due to technical difficulties, but
Okay,
so she was asking if I wish to become a ballet dancer, is attending ballet competition a need or a must?
this she's talking about to become a ballet teacher, right? From the question I'm looking
Yes,
at it.
yes. Hmm.
So this lady was asked if she wants to become a ballet teacher, whether attending competition is important or not. I have to say, it's a very good question because I don't believe it's a must, but I think it's very helpful. You know why? Just because the competition aspects are very much involved in the dancers education at this moment. I believe in competition. I like a competition. I like a competition just not because I like the sensation of winning. Yes, nobody doesn't like to win, but I believe the process of getting students ready to participate in competition is very valuable. I'm a goal oriented person. I always like to have a goal, the end product. Um, it's there that helps me to create the type of training regimen and to the whole organization, the whole school, including teachers and everyone else, to have all bound together to create that process and to achieve that goal. So the competition aspect it is very much now as a part of school education. So if you're planning to be a teacher, it is very helpful to understand how that process works. To prepare a dancer to participate in competition is it's a tremendous process. So if you do it correctly, that dancer can learn so much from the process. So for me, that's valuable. Sometimes I see a dancer and I know this dancer have very little chance to be placed in a competition. However, my experience is that after they finish the competition, they grow so much. They get so much more maturity and strength in every way, just because the process itself and the the experience of to be judged in front of a panel of a jury member and dance that solo alone on stage and with all the peers, that experience itself is very very valuable. So if you're planning to be a teacher, and I think it is very valuable, it is very helpful if you have that experience, because I guarantee you one of your students is going to say, uh, Miss So and so, I would like to participate this competition. Would you help me? And it's better that you have that experience and you can be able to tell that student how and do what, how to prepare it. And that has a rate of a component into it, which is how to choose the repertory, right? Which variation is better for that student, and that easy to say, hard to do, because that variation itself, oftentimes it's not going to be what that student wants to do, because they look at YouTube, they look at Instagram, they say, you know what, I want to do this. But my experience is oftentimes that is the wrong variation for that student. So it's up to you to point out this is may not be appropriate for you at this moment in your technical ability. Here is an alternative for you. I think this is something that you can do better at the moment. You should be able to comfortably do that. And how to coach it, a student through the process, how to prepare a student in every way, the makeup, the costume, everything has to be correct. So yes, answer is, in my opinion, yes, it could be very helpful for you to be a very good teacher. And also this opportunity for you to be among other teachers from all over the world, to be in one auditorium, to see how another teacher is preparing that particular dancer, to see how perhaps a same variation, why certain students are danced differently, because they coached differently from the various background of that teacher. So we learn so much by observing what other people are doing and learn from other people's mistakes. So for me, it's a very valuable process. Of course, people say, you know what, I don't believe in competition. That's completely fine too. Yeah, some people say that's completely, it's sort of takes too much energy and time out of the curriculum, and we're not going to do that. And that's completely valuable and a decision. And school, every school should have the right to decide what to do with the competition. But personally, I do believe it's very beneficial. I do believe that. Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
wonderful.
you.
I hope that's helpful for Nicole. Thank you for your question. So we'll go with the last question, Mr. Ranchal. This is more for
Great.
the teacher. So this teacher, he was asking, what is the proper way or use of technique when teaching students how to go from plie to releve, especially on one like in fondu or fondu to releve? What muscles should be focused on or used to get the best result?
Fondu to relevant.
Mhm.
Good question. You have to, there's two parts to this. Unless you talk about releve without plie, you're just pressing up like this, right? Without the plie releve. If you talk about just to rise up, we're gonna talk about that first. Number one, take your time. Rise up. It's not pop up, right? Rise up. So in the process of rising up, very important your ankle to keep steady without shaking right and left, especially out this way, the sickling position. We don't want that, right? So you rise up slowly, because only the slow speed you can truly feel your muscle. Your muscle have opportunity to feel the engagement. You actually can feel what muscle group are working, what it does is not working, and it give your body an opportunity to engage the right muscle to rise up. Okay, very important to be very supple speed. Come up slow, also come down slow as well. Very most important, coming down slow, you have to resist. You have to resist the gravity. You actually have to pull it up even higher on the way down. Then the destination of the top. I only believe it's the two toes, the top two toes, the big toe and the toe next to it. That's your target. As we talked about a bit before, your toes is not flat, even like this, has a ridge, it's a triangle. Two toes, the first two toes are the longest. If the female student on point, that's where it should go, because these two toes, the big toe and the toe next to it, is in line with ridge of your foot. We talked about this a few days ago. The top of your arch is only in line with the two toes. Yeah. So it's very important you have everything lined up on the way up without shaking. So the destination, the top of releve, you are not finished on the last toe, the pinky toe, or all these toes on the side, because that, if you do that, your foot, it will be in a signaling position, and absolutely we don't want that, because that have no stability. Yeah. Now, that's for without plie. So you talk about releve with plie, like a fondu, plie, releve. Okay. So that have a lot to do with how you do the plie. Okay. So to me, I said earlier that plie, every plie, demi plie, the knee has to be over the toes. Only then that plie is engaged, that plie is supple, that plie is energetic. That plie has a hydraulic resistance for you to push. If your weight is on the heel, when you do fondu, I guarantee you, because your knee is not over the toes, so your weight is on the heel of the supporting foot. When you in that position, when you come up to releve, you're never going to be on your leg. You're going to be in a rocket shooting in a diagonal. You want to go straight up when you plie and releve. Only way when that happens, for that to happen, is have your weight on the ball of that supporting foot. And for that plie to be knees in line with the toes and knees over the toes. So I encourage you to just sit in that position, truly feel your balance, truly feel your center. Have your quad, your thigh, and have your bottom engaged. Now from there, that position will give you something substantial for you to push from. Third thing, speaking push. Think less about coming up. Thinking more about pushing the floor away from you when you do releve. So that releve has roots. I call it roots, like a tree. What do you see on the surface of the tree? You see equal amount of material underneath the ground, which is you don't see at the moment. So our idea is plie releve is the pushing the floor away from you, creating the roots go into the ground. Then the product on top, when you are on releve, you are heavy, strong. You're not floating on top of the floor like a tree without roots. Float. At one touch, it falls. Yeah. So I tell students, plie releve, you as if you're gonna push the floor away. That's how you grow. It's like a rocket goes up. It creates a lot of energy downward. You see that? And the rocket goes up. A lot of smoke, fire away from the rocket. So that downward energy produced energy go up. So a lot of visualization that takes a while for a students to sink in. But if you drill the idea every day, when they make a mistake, you correct them right away. It's not going to sink in one day just because you say so, just because, okay, you do it and they do it right away. No. It takes everyday remind a child, don't make that mistake. No, do it again. Don't pass it till you fix the problem. Yeah, you're not going to go to level 3 unless you tackled level 1 and 2. So because that problem, if it didn't get solved, you get past that. You say it's gonna go away. No, I don't tell you, it's not going to go away. It's gonna come back. The problem is gonna come back. You're gonna have to deal with the problem now or persistent all the time. So I encourage you, as a teacher, we have to be patient. We have to be persistent to solving those fundamental issues that are so critical in ballet structure, in ballet training, that for the students to grow quicker, to reach their best, oftentimes, and they improve uh, to do difficult things. Oftentimes, what preventing them do that is the foundational issues. It is clear relevant. How simple is that? Relevant, rise up. Because those are the things that is going to surface later on in the upper levels when they try to do a classical variation. Exactly same issue is going to come back. So my way and Kirov Academy way is we're polishing students. We're going to get rid of all these issues. We're going to put them in a perfect platform so they can reach the next platform. Then we're going to take the time to massage all idea into those students so they're ready for the third platform. So one level at a time. That's the only way for ballet to be trained, I believe. Yeah, it's through structure, discipline, and dedication from the teachers. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm happy I can offer some of my advice, and again, it's just my experience with those subjects. Yeah, so I am positive that everything that I said that has been said before, I'm positive of that. But perhaps my personal experience can offer another way to explain it. Then I'm very happy I can be able to do that. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Du. Thank you so much for all the questions, everyone. And we do have other technical related questions that Mr. Du can actually follow up tomorrow during the live open ballot
Yes.
class.
Yeah.
He's very good
Yes.
at like integrating the questions and answers within the
Yes.
practice. So he'll do
We can
that
do it
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Mhm.
Mhm. Yes, and also, Mr. Du, would you like to briefly talk about the Thursday, the ballet podcast with Mr. The artistic director in the
September. Yeah.
September?
So this is going to be a very very beautiful moment for Kirov Academy's virtual classroom. On Thursday, I'm going to interview my former boss, the artistic director of Washington Ballet, and the man I believe have so much to offer in terms of share his experience, and he's often very generous in share his point of view, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for many people, dancers, students, teachers, directors, choreographers, you name it, everybody. And I am very happy the he's going to be, on air in Washington D.C., where he was home for nearly 20 years, and he has transformed um, the city, the art scene, while he was here as artistic director of Washington Ballet. And a huge personality. It's just one of those people that when you meet, when you talk, you immediately feel that he's your friend for 20 years, and he has that kind of capacity to influence and to be infectious of his energy and his artistry, also his charisma and all that, everything that a great leader has. And it's promised to be a very engaging and beautiful topics. We're gonna talk about how the ballet today, um, what how is the audition to an artistic director, what he's looking for in today's dancers, and how is the casting is the decision is made in the professional world. And this we're gonna hear from a artist director. You know, he's gonna share some of the industry secrets with all young dancers, and he's just gonna we're just gonna have a beautiful chat. We just have a so a lot of Washingtonians are very excited. They're not professional dancers, but they just love to see him. So I am very very honored to have Septine to be our first speaker at our Kirov Ballet podcast. It's going to have its first episode on Thursday, 10:30 in the morning, and we can't wait to interview him. And I have some beautiful questions we could ask him. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So everyone, remember tomorrow is open ballet class with Mr. Du at 10:30 a.m.
Yes.
And Thursday it will be the ballet podcast with Mr. Septan and Mr. Du. So I hope you to
Okay.
join there with us. And we'll end the show now today. But thank you again for everyone for your attention, and we really appreciate your attention and your support. And we'll continue to bring value um, during this hard times, however we can. Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Everybody take care. Thank you. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
Bye
bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.